If you've been following the channel from the very beginning, you know that every year around this time, I do this video where I basically resume what has happened in the year, and it's also for me to then go back and find out how many things we've done. Because what happens with this YouTube life is that it goes so fast and you do videos every single week about different things that a lot of the time you forget some of the things that you have done before. And I think there's nothing better than reminiscing about some of the things that you have done before so you can find out where you're going next in this new year 2026. So this video is that video, and there's a lot to cover for 2025 because it's been the biggest year of YouTube for me so far, and so many exciting things are happening in the future. I cannot wait to tell you all about it. So without further ado, let's get to it. Alright, welcome to another video, and I hope you guys are doing well. So this video is very special to me because 2025 for sure has been the most incredible year for me, and anybody out there that is following the channel, that is actually giving me comments and is actually supporting me in any ways, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart because it means the world to me, because this year was officially the year that we just surpassed the 100K. But before we talk about this, let me take you back to January this year because it started with a bang, and I think it was a signal to what was to come. So in January 2025 this year, I remember perfectly that I thought it was going to be a slow month. And both my wife and I were worried about the finances of the beginning of the year, because what happens when you work for yourself is that you realize that you have to constantly bring money in. And a lot of the time, especially when you're freelancing and consulting and all these things, you don't know exactly where the money is coming from, especially if your contract finishes. And what happened to me the year before, 2024, is that I just wrapped up June Awakening, the game, as animation director, and I was super happy with the work that we've done there. But then I was going like, what's going to happen next? So January was kind of daunting, even though things were going well, but I knew that I was on the clock to find something. So Autodesk came to the rescue, and they invited me to actually do a webinar for them. And this was very much virtual. I was in front of my computer, and I did a whole talk about building efficient pipelines, because that's what we're trying to do at Proxima, my game studio. And I thought it went really well. And one of the things that I wanted to do this year, more than anything, pretty much, it was to basically be better at public speaking. I'm talking to a camera lens right now, right? But when it comes to speaking in front of people with an audience and stuff, I crumble. And this was a webinar, even though it was online. I thought this might be a good way for me to slowly onboard into this thing. So I did it, and it was a really good talk, I think. People enjoyed it a lot. And I was trying to always, as I always do, look for an angle that I haven't seen before, which is very much about indie studios building a pipeline and having the experience of that pipeline, being from AAA. What kind of like learnings can you take from the AAA world and you can apply to an indie game in order to make it more efficient? And then February. In February, then once again, going back to that idea of actually looking for new income and looking for ways to actually make sure that things work out, I actually started kind of like promoting my very first workshop. And I haven't done a workshop ever. I have a course out there. I have my one-on-one classes, but a workshop with many students is something that was new to me. So I wanted to test it out, and I had a blast. It was so cool. We had about 5 or 6 students, I want to say. They were all brilliant, lots of personality, and the whole idea is for us to spend a whole month, like hardcore, twice a week and 3 hours a day, kind of like talking about animation, teaching animation, telling them about the industry, telling them about how to improve their animation skills, telling them how to become a better gameplay animator. I thought I was just going to get there and teach, but I learned a lot from them as well. And this live interaction with multiple people was something that I was not used to. And what I found is that by asking the students what they would like to achieve on this specific class, or they have any questions or anything is not clear, we would be able to actually shuffle things around to make sure that everybody got the best thing possible. Unfortunately, I wanted to do more throughout the year, but unfortunately that became my only workshop this year because things got busy after that. In April, I went to Manchester for a festival called DVRS, and this was all about diversity in games. And as soon as I was invited and I heard about it and I read through it, I thought it was the most amazing thing because we need more diversity in games. It's one of the things that I talked here in the channel many times about how very little diversity we have in games. And I basically did a talk about how animators can become good game directors. And for me, once again, it's important to inspire the next generation, and it's something that I've learned through YouTube, is the fact that if people see people that look like themselves doing things that are successful, they feel more inclined to then do them themselves. And for me seeing other game directors that were animators is enough to inspire me. I hope that maybe people of color can see me and actually think that they can achieve at least that much to direct their own games, because we need more people like myself working in games but also directing these games, so then it can become like no ceiling. You can do everything in games. Go and check out the talk that I gave and the talk of all others. I'll leave the links down below if you're interested. And then we go into May. And once again, same theme. This time I was invited by Autodesk to go to Philadelphia to do a talk in person. And this was exciting for me for so many reasons. Not only because I was invited to go over and travel over and accommodations and things like that, but also I've never been to Philly. I always heard great things. And also this was an environment actually made for African American students, professionals that want to actually use an environment that gives them the tech and the knowledge and the know-how. And this was sponsored by Autodesk as well. So I thought the cause was amazing. And then on top of that, if I can go over and kind of talk a little bit about games and my journey and how things happen, then great. And once again, I came back feeling really, really inspired by this event. And also, it was the very first time on this talk in Philadelphia that I genuinely felt comfortable talking in public. I remember wrapping it up 45 minutes in, 4 questions. And even myself, I was like, you know what? I think that was pretty good. And then I was just waiting for people to come back to me and be like, was it good? Was it not good? If you don't get anything, normally it's not that good. But if you get people saying, oh, that was really interesting, then maybe. And I've seen that from others, but I never seen it myself. And this one, I got a lot of props in the end. Like, oh my God, that was... So I felt really reassured and I felt confident that maybe I'm getting to a point that I'm feeling as comfortable speaking in public as I am speaking to you guys. And that was a really bold moment, amazing moment for me in this year of 2025. All right, so now we move to June. In June, once again, very eventful month, because here I found another job as an animation director in a company called Keen, based in Prague. And at the same time, I actually started talking with the guys a month before from Rekindled. And the Rekindled guys, Rob, Siobhan, Yogi, they are absolutely amazing. And I felt like, once again, I was in a pivoting place in my career, because many years ago, if you guys remember, if you can be here for a while, I actually made the shift from working full-time in a job as an animation director to then working for myself. And I've been doing this by myself all this time. And now I feel like I want to work with others again, but still being independent. And Rekindle became that opportunity. And now all this time has passed, nearly a year, and I'm really proud of what we're doing at Rekindle. It's incredible. So if I could show you the behind the scenes at Rekindled, you would see. But anybody that is interested in Rekindle companies or animators, feel free to hit us up, because it's a company with incredible potential. And I feel like 2026 is going to be incredible. So that was what happened in June for the most part. I was working at Rekindled, and I was working with a company called Keen in Prague for a short-term pro contract to help them basically get the animations a little bit better in a game that they have called Space Engineers. So this brings us to August. In August, while I was doing all these things that I mentioned before, I was really working harder on another course, because the course that I released in the August previous, a year ago, well, a year before, it was really successful about motion capture. So I wanted to make a course about a show reel, because the number one question that I get from you guys is, how can I make a show reel that stands out from the rest, that can get me that job, that can very much be like, wow, this show reel is amazing. But it was supposed to be short and sweet, so you can basically just take the information and hopefully apply it to your show reel. Go and check out the course, link in the description for sure. It's been quite successful, and thanks to everybody that joined the course. So in September, things are starting to pick up again, summer is done, and I'm no longer working with Keen at this point. And I was asked to go to Nashville, Tennessee, by Autodesk to go to their Autodesk University. And when I went is when I found out how big Autodesk really is. Because like we, as the 3D, like, you know, section of Autodesk with the 3D Maxes and Mayas and all this stuff, we are the smallest thing that Autodesk does. When I saw everything else that they do with the AutoCADs and the engineering and the designing and stuff, it's mind-blowing to see how big Autodesk is. And my only role to go in here was me and another 2 YouTubers, super incredibly lovely people, to cover the event from our perspective, just walk around, attend some presentations, and then basically express what we've seen and how we liked it. That's it. And Autodesk left it completely in our hands to basically be as honest as possible. And you can tell everybody's just willing, right? I mean, it's a big machine, and the bigger the company, the more hard it is to actually turn things around. But regardless, I think the willingness is there. All right, so you know how I've been doing all these things this year, and it's starting to feel like a lot, even though I'm doing multiple things. Well, on top of all those things, what I didn't told you back in January is that in January of this year, I started writing my very first book. And they told me that writing books was going to be super stressful and very difficult and harder than you think. And I heard all the stories. And me being me, I was like, yeah, you know, how hard can it be? You know, okay, whatever. And everybody was right. It was so hard. It's really hard. And to me, the way I see it, and this is just my perspective, is that I'm a visual artist. I'm doing my animations on the screen, I'm illustrating, I have to see things, I have to write things, I have to express myself visually. And this was the very first time that I had to express myself via words. Well, you just have to read it a bunch of times in order to see how you feel and let other people read it, see how they feel, and then adjust from there. But it's so hard. It's incredible. So anyways, after all that journey, my deadline to actually like drop this book or give this book to the publisher was going to be the 1st of November. So I had to have it all ready. So at the end of this month of October, I submitted my book to the publisher and I couldn't be happier. And I have the pleasure to show you here for the first time the cover of the book, because this is what you're going to see most likely. There might be some changes because it's still going through printing, it's still going through proofreading and stuff through the publisher, but this should be the cover that you see. And then if things go well, it should be out Q1 or Q2 of next year. And I'm still waiting to hear more about the release date, so I'll let you guys know. But you're going to hear a lot more about the book in 2026. I think this book is going to be interesting for a lot of people because it's going to be all about the long game, how to thrive in the games industry. And that has a lot of meaning for me because after being in 20 plus years in the industry, you realize that just like an actual game, like an Elden Ring, like something that actually takes you, feels like a lifetime to complete, and when you complete, you feel like you achieved something amazing. The games industry and game dev is very much that way. Being in it for as long as I have and still be psyched about it is harder than it seems. So this becomes a guide for you to actually kind of like go through those things and do it in class with niceties and not fall into some of the traps that I've seen through so many years in so many companies. So it should save a lot of headache to a lot of people. So drop a comment down below. Let me know if you're actually looking forward to it. Let me know if you want a signed copy. Happy to sign as many copies as I can and send it over to you guys. Okay, cool. So that's October. Now, November, we actually celebrated for the very first time 100K subscribers, and oh my god, it was incredible for me. It was very much like getting to 1,000 subscribers or getting to 10,000 subscribers. It was incredible. I never thought I would get to 100K. For you to watch my channel, you need to basically like games first and foremost, and then like animation, and then wanting to know what goes behind game dev in general. And that's, I think, is a niche of a niche of a niche in a way. So for me to actually be here now, all these years later, it's been 7 years, I think it was, since I started this, like 6 or 7 years now, and then like be at 100K, like now 180K, pretty much nearly 200K. I feel super blessed to have you guys with me, because it means that I everything I've done so far, fingers crossed, has been something that has helped somebody and has been something that you guys enjoyed. And if you guys see the channel as a channel that helps you, that, you know, makes you grow in your career, that helps you through career, that motivates you, then to me, I think there's nothing that makes me feel more proud, because that's what I set out to do with this channel. And as you guys know, here on YouTube, there is talking about writer's block. There is something to say about like every single week having something new to say that is of weight and information, so it's not just fluff. And I try to make sure that every single week there's something solid for you guys to hopefully learn. And there's so much more that I can talk about, and it's all thanks to my experience, it's all thanks to all these years, it's all thanks to all the downfalls, the wins, the experiences that I have. And basically, this year has been full of experiences, and I wouldn't be able to do these things and do these videos and share all this knowledge with you guys if I didn't have all these experiences back to back to back. As you can see, this month, every single month of the year, there's been something interesting happening, something that I can share, something that I can learn from, something that I can expand my knowledge, my mind. And I feel super blessed to be here thanks to you guys, because like there's nothing more reassuring and empowering than knowing that the things that you have in your head, all those thoughts and ideas and creations and things, are things that are useful to others. And the more I go through this journey, the more it becomes less about being the best artist possible, best animator possible, or the most achieved director. I think it becomes much more about helping others, and how many people can you help and how many people can you empower out there. And I feel blessed to be in the position that I can say that I have been able to do that, and I hope this kind of like carries on for many years. And now we're in December and things keep on trucking away, and there's many more things that are exciting, and this month has been a month full of opportunities for 2026, and I cannot wait to tell you more about it. There's so much more. I'll do a video early January so I can tell you more about it. But the moral of the story is that things are picking up speed, and it's thanks to all of you in a major way. And I hope that I can keep up with this speed, with this energy, and I hope you guys keep being entertained with this content. And I hope that 2026 brings us even more amazing things. And with all that being said, that's all I had for you guys. This is long enough, and I hope you guys have a great rest of this year. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to everybody that's been watching this. I am going to clock out on these long-term videos. There's going to be some content over the Christmas, but for the most part, I'm going to be with the family for a couple of weeks to make sure that I can like unwind a little bit, ready for 2026, because at this pace and the way the things are going, I need the energy. And you know, 2026, if all goes well and God willing, it's going to be even better than this year. And thanks to all of you once again for watching my content, and until the next one, stay well, stay safe, peace. Notes 2. I'm recording a video. I'm recording a video. Okay, keep it down. Jasmine, Rachel, keep it down. Oh, looks good. Like, I'm recording a video.
Sorry.
Yeah, Spider-Gwen is in the house. Yeah. I like it.